All right, another exciting time it is to be back right here, giving you pinpoint in-depth analysis, and this is exclusive to your Football Beyond the Scene channel, Football Gazette. And of course, you can follow us on all our social media platforms as been displayed on your screen. Diving into this episode, we'll be talking about Chelsea Liverpool struggles. And that's a lot we want to talk about today.
Trust me, that's really going to be exhaustive. Talking about Liverpool, Chelsea, of course, it's a known fact worldwide what they've entered the season struggling. I mean, they've been this opposite of themselves. They're not painting themselves in any form of glory as it is. Jurgen Klopp, the well-adored glory man, has now turned to, almost a piece of rag as it is now. He's just been on the brink of being shown the exit door. That's really sad.
Now let's go into details. Chelsea this season have played 21 games, 8 wins so far, 6 draws and 7 losses, scoring 22 and conceding 1 and conceding 21 goals. They have 1 goal difference and they are seated in the 9th position.
To imagine they've scored 22 and conceded 21. I really can't wrap it around my head.
Okay.
This is one of the most terrible seasons you would ever see Chelsea playing in.
What is
apart from the Mourinho's, maybe Mourinho's second stint last days in the office.
Yeah.
I've never seen Chelsea this terrible. Nothing just seems to be working for them. Of course, they've lost against the most improbable of opponents they shouldn't even have lost against. If to say they were really struggling against fellow top seeds opponents, that would be another case entirely. But this time around, they find it so difficult to actually get maximum points against minnows. No disrespect to these teams. Okay, let's take a look at Fulham. New boys Fulham.
Yeah.
Chelsea failed to defeat Fulham
on 2 occasions.
Over both legs. It's really uncharacteristic of Chelsea to have lost the first leg, drew the second leg. It's quite unfortunate.
Despite the new boys coming in.
When it comes to discussing Chelsea, a whole lot of factors needs to be brought in.
Okay.
Because we had the takeover, the spending of cash. It was even the splashing. Let's not put it the spending. It's the splashing of cash over the summer. And now we've seen that as well in the winter transfer window, during the January transfer window.
Yes.
Todd Boehly keeps bringing in players with reckless abandon. It should be frustrated. It should be frustrated, like we said under the previous installment. It should really be frustrated because you as an investor, you've invested so heavily in getting players into your team.
Amount of money.
Being disappointed should be an understatement when you're not getting the result. So I think that's just a case of Todd Boehly as it is now. But then I'm sure it must be taking solace and seeking solace in the fact that I'm really building this team for future to come. You understand? This team, the team is really assembled now. Can really go on to last for the next decade, playing on the highest of level. Don't forget, we have a whole lot of exciting talents in their rank. We have the Coban boys coupled with the new boys as well, coming from different leagues of the world. To imagine Chelsea might still turn to be one of the heavyweights in European football and even come to dominate English football is something we really can't wait to happen. But as it is now, they are really enduring a really tough season. Trust me, and it appears as though they're on the brink of losing out on any European sport at all.
Okay, let's take it from where Chelsea sacked Thomas Tuchel 3 games into the league this season. And they brought in the new coach Graham Potter there. And you can see ever since then, it has been a lot of ups and downs for Chelsea. And a lot of Chelsea fans out there will be so disappointed with the current situation of their team. Right now, sitting in the 9th position, thanks to Fulham last game draw, a 1-1, 0-0 draw there. And Chelsea still failing to win against, like you said, minnows in the league. No disrespect to these teams, but again, you should expect Chelsea.
There, the handwriting is boldly written on the wall.
And looking at the couple of players they brought in the summer, in the winter, you should expect that it should just work like magic for them. and start getting the wins. But the reverse is the case this time around.
Well, that's just another testament that football isn't just mathematics.
So
it doesn't work.
Okay, let me ask you this: is Potter getting it right with Chelsea, or is it the tactic? Is it tactical problems Chelsea having, or let me say the players have not settled well in?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't want to be so factual about if Graham Potter is the right man to steer the affairs of Chelsea.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I want to take back seat. I want to be reserved a little bit on actually saying if Graham Potter is the right man for the job. You understand? This is the manager who we saw with Brighton and Hove Albion. He did fantastically well, always getting Brighton and Hove Albion into the top 5, top 4 at some point. Yeah. Even in the season before the replacement, it started well with Brighton and Hove Albion before that switch to Stamford Bridge. And we've seen what he's capable of doing with an averagely, unrelatably unknown team at all in Brighton. We saw the likes of Lamptey, Caicedo actually thriving under him. But then I want to believe Graham Potter lacks the cutting edge to actually thrive when it comes to manning the affairs of the biggest of talents you can see right there. Can we say, as a manager, he's starstruck of these players? You've seen, because I really, you know what, I said it earlier, I really can't wrap it around my head. You as a manager, you know the tactics you are actually deployed with Brighton and Hove Albion. Chelsea, okay, of course, Chelsea is a bigger outfit, a traditional team compared to Brighton.
Okay.
But then I feel there shouldn't be this much of a problems when it comes to replicating. If not all. But at least, a little bit of such fit with Brighton. But then, he's been a complete different man. This is not the Graham Potter we used to know. The body language is no longer there. Just folds his arms on the touchline. No direction to players. No command on the touchline. See, as it is, I'm sure I'm really speaking the minds of Chelsea fans out there. Graham Potter looks as though he's not the main man or the right man for the Chelsea job. But the question is, who then is? That's the point. Todd Boehly actually got it wrong from my own perspective. The moment he let Thomas Tuchel out of the hooks, you understand, for Chelsea. Although he was enduring some torrid start to the season. Maybe not so tough. It was just 3 matches into the season. News emerged that are beyond the results.
Yes.
There are some underlying issues that must have contributed to him being shown the exit door, and which were actually brought into. Of course, we saw at some point the Cristiano Ronaldo Chelsea saga, where Todd Boehly really wanted Cristiano Ronaldo in the fold. Okay. But Thomas Tuchel, as the tactical man, of course, is the one in the dugout. He knows the players he wants in his team. Perhaps he actually saw the handwriting on the Manchester United wall. It really wasn't convenient with having Cristiano Ronaldo on his team, and as such, told Boehly point blank, I don't want this guy in my team. That was just the genesis of the whole problem. But it was just so unfortunate to see him being shown the exit door. And what have Chelsea fans gotten in return? A certain Graham Potter, who's led Brighton and Hove Albion maybe to one of their best finishes, but then really struggling so hard to replicate same feat with Chelsea.
Well, that still brings us to the question, is Graham Potter the right manager to fix Chelsea's problem at the moment? We will leave that to the results coming in from Chelsea in subsequent matches and to the fans to decide who they want their manager to be. But as it is, Graham Potter of Chelsea is doing
well, maybe not only Chelsea is struggling in the season. We have counterpart. Of course, their slogan their slogan says, you will never walk alone. Of course, maybe they have a companion in Chelsea this time around. Of course, Chelsea is a suitable companion. Hand in hand. Ninth place, 10th place. What's more of a love affair than this one?
A love affair?
Yes, and it's seemingly a match made in heaven.
Okay, let's go to Liverpool this time around. Liverpool are seated in 10th position with 20 games played, 8 wins so far, just same as Chelsea as well. And they have both lost the same number of matches, 7, and they have 29 points. They have also scored 34 goals, conceding 28 so far. That is unusual. Liverpool. Yeah. We used to see. Let's take a look at Liverpool last season or in 2 seasons ago. We saw they do have Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah up front there, and this fantastic trio have been doing fantastic well, scoring numbers of goals for Chelsea, and their Champions League exploits as well was so great. It was match made in heaven for them. They defeated a couple of teams there to get to be crowned the Champions League winner. And now this season, or let me say, a lot have been wrong. During the summer, a report came up that Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp said he won't be needing any midfielder in his ranks, that he has a whole lot of players to fill in that position. But at some point, these players start to lay off injury based on injury terms, and this has caused Liverpool to have a lot of problems there, not to have a specific lineup. They have to bring in Elliott and some other youngsters there in their rank to fill in that position. We can see Diogo Jota is out to injury. Luis Hernandez is out to injury as well. Luis Diaz is out to injury, and couple of players there. Thiago Alcantara has not been stable as well. Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, these players, I think they have a whole lot of problems there based on injury this time around. But they brought in Arthur Melo from Juventus on loan. He also had injury. So what can you associate this with? Liverpool struggles.
You see, like I said, you really can preach their things with Manchester City. It appears as though, okay, the glory days are going. I've been wind off through the thing here. And it's really sad to see. To imagine high-flying Liverpool at some point always playing catch-up to Manchester City, sitting comfortably at the second position, just playing catch-up to Manchester City with a few points. Now languishing 10th position. As a matter of fact,
they always make the league more interesting.
They are even dividing. They are dividing the log. To occupy the 10th position, it's really sad to see. Sad to endure from Coach Jurgen Klopp as well. To imagine having let Sadio Mane off the hook, getting Luis Diaz, getting Darwin Núñez from Benfica hasn't really paid off. Although he's got a couple of goals for himself, but he hasn't really measured up to that extent at which we envisage in the season.
Yeah.
Imagine Erling Haaland. Initially in the season was being compared with Broad Haaland. But then it's really done on us like magic to imagine Erling Haaland actually zoomed off him like there is no tomorrow. It's just 20 matches into the season. Erling Haaland already had a total of over 25 goals.
Yeah.
How many goals can we actually say Darwin Núñez has? It's really sad for Liverpool. Mohamed Salah. A typical savior, a typical Liverpool savior on his own good day, has turned the shadow of himself this season. He hasn't been scoring, neither providing assists. He's just been there, always running through the wings, run through. Not even providing defensive supplement for the team. So it makes Liverpool suffer on both defense and attack as well. At least if you're not offering anything in attack, try to just shield the defense a little bit. But then Mohamed Salah hasn't been doing any of those this season. This season has completely been a very terrible season for him to just cope with. I'm sure this season will sure go down as one of his worst seasons ever playing football. Not having it so good when it comes to being a professional footballer. Not forgetting, early last year he lost the African Cup of Nations. Of course, Egypt failed to make it to Qatar 2022 World Cup as well. He's been enduring some really sad starts, some terrible starts a football player of his caliber won't want to have. You understand?
Yeah.
Of course, can we say he's still in a very considerable age in his career? Yeah, he's still in a very considerable. Of course, he really can play for the next 4 years at the topmost level.
Definitely.
Well, maybe not all has ended for him. Of course, let's just hope as soon as possible he gets to pick up the pieces and move on.
Well, that is that about Liverpool. And as it is now, I'm not making excuses for Chelsea or Liverpool, but they've both had a lot of injury list this season, and that has not really been comfortable with them. They have not been performing well in the league, and you can see their performance so far. Chelsea, Liverpool, both fans both club fans out there will be disappointed with the current state of the Liverpool. Chelsea this season, they are disappointing to say.
I mean, being disappointed or disappointing is an understatement. Yeah, now it's an understatement because when you look at the pedigree, you look at the accolades won in recent years, you begin to think Liverpool, Chelsea shouldn't be occupying anything near even the 6th, 7th, not to talk of 9th, 10th. I mean, that's something.
Yeah.
Let's hope they just still have more than enough time to turn the hands of the club.
Okay, let me ask you this. Will Liverpool be working alone this season, or there's still chances for them to make a top 4 or maybe a Europa League finish?
Oh, well, all hopes is not lost yet. Talking about Liverpool and both Chelsea, I mean, they still have a shouting chance of making
the top 4 despite
making
the
the
stiff
top 4.
competition in the league. You can see from the 7th position to the 4th position where Newcastle occupies, we have Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur, Brentford and Brighton seated in that position, and I'm very sure those teams are not ready to lose
that's my concern.
any of their guys.
That's my concern as well, because when talking about Brighton, Brentford and Fulham, the question remains, do these teams have the required squad depth
to sustain the position,
to stand the test of time? You begin to wonder, as time goes on, Brentford, Brighton, Fulham can actually get the drop and eventually maybe make 8, 9, 10 finish at the end of the day. But then I'm not making a case for the likes of Liverpool or Chelsea. But then, I mean, we know what these teams are capable of doing anytime, any day.
That is if they get their momentum right.
Well, that is if they get their momentum, the psyche, the mentality needed going forward right.
Well, don't let us forget, Chelsea, Liverpool still are in the European competition this season, the UEFA Champions League, and those teams we mentioned just now, Fulham, Brentford and Brighton, are not in the competition. All they have to focus on is just the Premier League alone. And now to say Liverpool and Chelsea will be having more features to play and why others rest. So I feel it will be more difficult for them to get these players, due to fatigue. You don't expect them to play a Champions League match on Tuesday or Wednesday and still come and perform.
How about now that Liverpool looks to be near the end of the road when it comes to the UEFA Champions League?
Because they are facing Real Madrid.
Well,
this is football. Anything can happen.
Well, anything can happen. But this is Real Madrid.
Yes.
The defending champions of the UEFA Champions League.
Well known.
Well, the second position in the La Liga Santander. I mean, just adrift of Barcelona by a few points, a couple of points that might be detrimental to them emerging champions at the end of the year.
Well, I feel when it comes to Champions League,
it's another different mentality.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think to some reasonable point has to be put aside. Because when it comes to the Champions League,
as for Chelsea, like you're saying, as for Chelsea, I won't be surprised if eventually they do one over Dortmund across both legs. Yes, because this is the Champions League. It's a different terrain, not the usual league matches where you get to play
it's a knockout phase.
At a certain Brentford, at a certain Brighton. I mean, you're going to be Signal Iduna Park this time around to actually face Borussia Dortmund. Or maybe they haven't been doing quite bad for themselves as it is. I think they are occupying the 3rd position in the Bundesliga table. Yeah, the 3rd position in the Bundesliga table. I mean, not so bad for themselves, at least compared to Chelsea when it comes to the league form. But then this is the Champions League, like we rightly said, it's another different mentality. I mean, Chelsea would know this is one of the chance for them to meet up, to play in the Champions League next season.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the players Chelsea brought in during the winter. We have Joao Felix, we have Mikhailo Modric, we have Noni Madueke, and some couple of players as well who are not still playing for Chelsea yet. The Brazilian Santos there, who is currently in the World Cup for the under-22 Brazil team, and let's see. With this set of players, could Chelsea, get a win or go far in the Champions League knockout phase? Maybe a semi-finalist.
It's just sad, or maybe not sad. That's just the reality. Not all these players would be able to make it into the UEFA Champions League team. Of course, that's certain for sure.
Yeah.
As it is, I think Chelsea has replaced Aubameyang and a couple of other players with the likes of Mikhailo Modric, Joao Felix, and I think a certain midfielder in that ranks as well. So I really do feel, before we start saying the likes of Santo, Malo Gusto, and Noni Madueke, a host of exciting young talent. Like I said earlier, these are guys who can still play at the topmost level for the next decade. So maybe exciting times for Chelsea and their fans all over the world. But then it remains to be seen how far they can go this particular season. That's just the talking point.
Let's just agree or say we will be seeing the exploit of these new guys into Chelsea team maybe next season or next season to come. Okay, that is that about Chelsea. What putting you on the spot for Liverpool, Real Madrid? What do you think? Can Liverpool their Champions League campaign this time around? Where do you think Liverpool can reach? Maybe a semi-finalist, a quarter-finalist, or maybe imagine a champion at the end of the day.
Well, with the league form, Liverpool are presently playing in, and considering the magnitude, the caliber of opponent they've been pitched with in the round of 16 and Real Madrid, I really feel Liverpool stand no chance whatsoever
against Real
going
Madrid
into the quarterfinals of this year's Champions League. It's just the end of the road for them. For me, that's my prediction. They will be wired, massacred, bashed both legs by Real Madrid.
Well, that is that about Chelsea and Liverpool, and we'll get to see if both teams will be able to make it to the top 4 position, that is for Champions League qualification against next season, or a Europa League spot, or even the Conference League this time around. Let's see what happens to Chelsea and Liverpool at the end of the season come May. Football fans out there, thank you for standing by, and until then, do stay good.